Hi everyone and welcome to the 6th episode of season 2 of the A Bit of AI show. And in this episode we will talk with Bea about her life in AI. Hi everyone and welcome to the 6th episode of season 2 of the A Bit of AI show. This episode we will talk with Bea about her life in AI. My name is Henk I'm a white male with brown hair wearing glasses, and today I'm wearing a black shirt with the text "Don't accept the defaults," a quote by Abel Wang.
And hi everyone, my name's Amy. I'm a female with long blonde hair that's curled, and I'm wearing a navy blue t-shirt. And actually, we do have to call out Henk. We had a rule. We said no dark clothing because we actually have a dark background as a visual. But hopefully it's not too bad if you are watching the actual visual version of this. Let us know. Give us feedback.
Exactly. But yeah, it's still looking quite well. It's still looking quite well. So once again, everyone, welcome to the A Bit of AI show. And this show is all about the story from the people behind the AI systems. Because in our job, Amy and me, we meet so many people from around the globe, and we realize that there are so many different skilled people involved in creating an AI solution. From pre-sales and consultancy to creating the deep neural networks itself and running them in production. So in this show we invite people from all over the world that are professionals in the AI space to have a chat and talk what they actually do during the week. This is the 6th episode of season 2 and we couldn't be more excited to start talking to our guests and learn more about what they do. And as always, everything is available on our website abitofai.show. So I think we can get started and let's invite Bea to the screen. Hey Bea.
Hi Henk, how are you? Hi Amy.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Also, wonderful background. Love the environment that you're sitting in. Adds a lot of niceness to our show. Also, we all color coordinated. Look at that. There we go. What a win.
I know. I didn't get to know dark. Yeah, that reminds me. I should probably describe what I look like. So I'm a white female with long brown hair that is curled today. I'm also wearing dark clothes because I also did not get the memo of no dark clothes in the show. So I'm wearing black and gray. So yeah, nice to be here in the show with you guys.
Oh no, thank you for coming. Thank you for spending time with us. And yeah, for our guests, there are no rules. You get to wear whatever you want, which we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. But let's jump straight in because people are wondering who you are. We are both very well acquainted with you because we're all on the same team here at Microsoft. However, do tell our audience who you are and what you do in the AI space.
All right, so I'm an advocate, a cloud advocate, just like you two. I work on Henk's team, on the same team as Henk, which is the AI/ML team. And in advocacy, we typically say that there's like 3 pillars that we focus on. There's one pillar where we connect with the product team. And in my case, I connect with the Azure ML product team. So that's my focus. On another pillar is we connect with the community. So we connect with you guys and we hear what you have to say. We help you solve problems. We try to kind of get you acquainted with our product. And on our third pillar, we produce content. And so we could be writing MS Learn tutorials or other types of content that will help you learn the Microsoft technologies that we work on. And in our case, even like just machine learning in general, not just as it relates to Microsoft. So that's what I do. Those are like the 3 things that I focus on. And so.
Oh, wonderful. Well, that actually leads us quite nicely into the next question because I don't know how I would describe this. And we ask every guest that comes on here, and I always feel a bit like a fraud because I'm like, I'm not sure how I would describe my average day. But given that each day is different, how would you describe what your average day is? What does it look like in your role?
Oh, my average day. I'm sure I just think there's no average. But I can give you an example or examples of things that I do throughout the day. Every day is different. So every day will have a component of one of those 3 pillars. And also a lot of meetings, usually too many meetings. But let's say, for example, on a given day, I could be working with a product team. I could be trying some feature that isn't, maybe that it's not released yet, or maybe that it's just released and still like in preview. And that I can give them feedback on the feature. I can do like create demos, and like we call them like end-to-end scenarios that include that feature and a bunch of other features together that kind of try to use their features in a context similar to what the users would use them. So I may be in meetings with a team. I may be coding. I do a lot of coding for demos and kind of trying to get their features working. I could be reading their documentation and then giving feedback on the documentation. So that would be like, that's probably of the 3 pillars, that's probably where I spend most of my time, is in that connection with the team and building these demos and end-to-end scenarios. The second one that I would say I spend most time would be producing content. So I could be writing my blog, like blog posts about things that I learn. They could be things that are Azure machine learning specific, a feature that I've been playing with that I'm excited to tell the users about, or it could be like a MS Learn module to help people learn some technology that could, like for example, PyTorch or TensorFlow, like technologies that aren't necessarily Microsoft technologies, but they are related to machine learning. And in the third pillar of connecting with the community, I could be, I'm actually going to start co-hosting the AI show with Aishigal, Aishigal is also on our little team, Henk, me, and a few other people in the IML team. So that will be a great way for you all to talk to me directly in a live show. It's 2 hours every Friday, every other Friday. In like, I think it's R11. By R, I mean Pacific time. I'm in Seattle. 11 in the morning. So that would be like a typical day. I would be switching between all 3. I could be planning an AI show and then doing some demo code and then meeting with a product team and giving them a ton of feedback. And then maybe I'll have some meetings related to some MS Learn kind of module that we're working on and coordinating with my team on that. So that's a typical day for me.
Gosh, busy. That's always the thing, isn't it? And context switching as well. I can hear a lot of context switching going on. But to all of our guests, do check out Bea's Twitter profile. You can see it here, or if you go to our website, you should be able to click on her name and go to her Twitter profile, because Bea, you share a lot of your blog posts. I always retweet them on your Twitter handle. They're very, very useful. There is lots of different, as you said, it's not all just Azure AI. It's actually like a lot of just sort of different machine learning algorithms, different things you've been working on and all that. So yeah, do definitely go and follow Bea. She's got some really, really cool stuff to share there. Wonderful. And yes, a big promotion, no problem. And a big promotion for the AI show as well. So the AI show is also on Learn TV, so where you are right now. But if you head back Friday early evenings, if you're here in Europe, or you can catch all of these things on demand. If you search AI show on Channel 9, you can see all of them. So you don't always have to be live. I'm sure you could contact Bea via Twitter another time, but do go and check out that show. There's lots of cool stuff happening over there. Wonderful. Well, Henk, over to you, because I know you like to dig more into the past, like.
Exactly, yeah. So we all know now what you do during the day. Lots of meetings, lots of writing code, lots of meetings, code. But I'm very curious in how you got to this stage in your career? Like, where did you start? What did you study? And how did your professional career move to like being a principal advocate?
Yeah, so I have a computer science degree, but back in the days, I'm a little old, if you guys may notice. And back in the days when I went to college, it wasn't really a thing to study machine learning in college. So I did take an AI class, artificial intelligence class, but that was very different from today's machine learning. It was all like rule-based systems, like not knowledge-based systems and things like that, which aren't really the focus these days. They're still around, but not as much the focus. And so I didn't really get into it until much later. I actually worked for Microsoft for a long time ago on client like APIs for writing client side of applications, and so that was my focus. It was like APIs and front end and all that for a long time, and then machine learning started, like people started talking about it, and I was paying attention. I just thought it was really interesting, and then there was one particular moment that I remember just making the decision, oh man, this is just so useful, I need to study this. So this was a moment while I was traveling in China, in south of China. I worked in China for a little while at Microsoft, and I was studying Chinese, and it's such a hard language. So I was like putting so many hours into it and studying so much and learning to write also. So like learning all the strokes and all the characters. I was traveling with my husband in the south of China, and we were just like going from little village to little village and just talking, just hiring a driver to take us from here to there. And I was like using my best Chinese and trying to tell them where I wanted to go and go left and go right, and we need to eat, and can you stop here? Just the basic things that I knew how to say. And at one point, this taxi driver like talks to me, and he starts saying all these things, and I'm like, oh, this is just too much for me. I don't understand what he said. And so I would ask him to repeat and speak slower and speak simpler, and he would just say things I just didn't understand. And it seemed important. Like he was kind of like annoyed. Like he wanted telling me these things. Look, no. Like he would just say. I'm like, oh, so frustrated, right? So I pull out my phone and I tell him to say it to the phone, right? To repeat what he was saying. And he repeated, and then the phone just translated it to me in perfect English, right? And I was like, oh, wow, that was way easier than learning Chinese, right? And so I pulled the phone and I just spoke back, and I showed him the Chinese characters, which he understood a lot better than my very poor Chinese. And at that moment, I just had this kind of realization of like, I'm spending so much time and so much effort learning this super interesting but super hard language. And there's like this technology, AI, that is solving this problem for everyone. And if I just put the same effort that I'm putting into my own studying into AI, maybe I could like bring benefits like this to everyone, not just to myself. So it felt like it scaled better. Like it was just like a much better use of my time, because it was just such a big bang for the buck to like solve these problems for everyone. And so that was like a really key moment. And I had already been thinking about, because it's something I had always wanted to do and didn't have an opportunity to do after college. And so this was just the perfect, and I wanted to go study applied math, and I knew that, but I didn't really know what to apply it to. And so when I started thinking about machine learning and AI, I'm like, okay, this is like the perfect application for machine learning. So this is what I want to go back and study. So I did something that very few people do at age 40, which is I went back to grad school and studied. I got a master's in applied math applied to machine learning at the University of Washington here in Seattle. And it's not like a professional master, so it's not like something that you do after work or anything. So I was really the oldest one in the classroom by far. Everyone else was 22. But it was wonderful. It was a great experience. It kind of made me think like a young person again, which is good, and made lots of great friends and learned a lot in the meantime. And yeah, and that was great. So that's really when I then learned it, and I had already been learning it online, as most people. Like I did the engineering courses and other Coursera courses, and I had already been coding a lot, like doing little projects on my own. So when I got to grad school, it was more like to take it to the next level and understand, and also to kind of merge it with AI to understand more like the intersection with applied math. It was more like to understand what is the intersection between applied math and machine learning, and how can I explore that area a little bit better. And then Microsoft hired me back, which was wonderful.
Well, congratulations on heading back to academia. That can't have been easy, but seems to have paid off as well, which is great because obviously, yeah, as you said, AI is incredibly popular. It's why we do this show. A lot of people do want to learn and get involved and stuff like that. So, but also just want to point out, it's so funny that you worked with APIs so much. And if we think about the less sort of the more service style AI that we offer, so platform as a service such as Azure Cognitive Services, that's all about APIs. So really, you've not gone that far away. You've just kind of gone to the other side of like building it rather than consuming it. So that's really cool.
That is so true. And I actually find that with like almost everything in life that we learn, I feel like there's, even if it feels like completely unrelated to our job or our main interest, there's always some learning that you take from whatever skill you acquire that helps everything else that comes after. If nothing else, it gives you a different perspective that other people in the field may not have. So I definitely think that AI really benefits from people coming from like biology, psychology, like finance, fields that may seem that they're a little bit unrelated, because people may think, oh, I studied this thing that is not computer science or that is not math, but that's really where the benefit comes, because those people bring a different perspective and they're able to think of applications of AI to fields that I can't think of because I don't have that background. And so I think it's really important to have a diversity of backgrounds in this field.
That is so true. So that brings us to our next question. So AI and your work, it all seems really, really nice. And it seems like you have a lot of fun. But there must be something really annoying that you find about your role in AI. And we want to know what that is.
Oh. So I can think of actually a couple of things. So on my everyday life, I think the thing that annoys me the most is all the waiting. You have to wait for training, and you have to wait to create an endpoint, as you and I know, Henk. All the waiting that goes on, and there's no immediate satisfaction, like there was in UI, where I would just do something, run it, and I would see it visually show up right away. So sometimes I do something, and I'll run it overnight, and I'll check it again in the morning, because it just takes 5 or 6 hours to run or whatever. Actually, I remember my professor when I started my deep learning class in college. On the first day, there's more than 100 people in the classroom, most of them men, of course. And he says, you guys should consider to start taking up knitting, because you're going to be waiting a lot while you're doing the homeworks for this class. There's going to be a lot of dead time where you're just going to be waiting for things to happen. So that was kind of funny. But on a more deeper level, I would say that the thing that I don't love about AI is that one thing I don't love about AI is that there's a lot of potential for doing things that aren't ethical, and it's sometimes hard to see. And I think it's really important. It's a really important area of AI that people have been talking a lot about. But I have met people who have done research that seemed so innocent at first, and then it gets used for something that is totally not innocent, and that is actually detrimental to society. and you can't always see it when you're first doing it. Sometimes but it's important to see it, right? It's important to see it so you don't take it any further, but it's not always easy. So I feel like we're always kind of walking a fine line of like, is this going to be used for good? So
Yeah, that's such a good call out. I was actually chatting to someone about that literally yesterday, and I said the same thing. I was like, I always have that thing where I'm like, what if I build something and it turns out parts of it aren't ethical, or as you said, it's used in a different way than maybe I intended. I would never want to do it maliciously. Like, it's just not in me to want to do it maliciously. I mean, there are bad actors out there, obviously. We know that in tech. That's not just AI. But yeah, I agree with that perspective. I was having that same conversation with someone. It's, I guess working with other people, different people, getting different people's perspectives, beta testing with lots of different users, all these different things. But just reading, lots and lots of reading, right, is always useful around the area. Spot patterns. We're very good at that, I guess, in machine learning. We appreciate a good pattern.
Sure. For sure.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to our next round. And our next round, B, is our quickfire questions. So in our quickfire question round, we have 6 questions. Me and Henk will alternate the different questions. And we would really like you to answer those questions as quickly as possible. So the first thing that comes to your mind. And if you can, no more than a sentence or 2 long. We have broken these rules before, so don't worry about it too much. But are you ready for our quickfire questions?
I am ready. Go for it.
Woohoo. Okay. We'll start with a fairly historical one. So, what was your first computer?
Oh gosh, yeah. It was a. So my older brother, is a software engineer. So it was a ZX Spectrum, which came out in 1982, and I was 4 at the time. But I remember it like it just marked me. It's played a lot of games on that thing from an early age.
Perfect. What programming language was used in the last project you worked on?
Python. For the last several years, it's been Python. That's the only thing I know at this point.
I was going to say, good call out. Yeah, we're certainly seeing a pattern there, in the answers. Wonderful. Question number 3. So what's the most useful thing you've learned in AI?
Most useful thing, I think, I would say, like when using apps, to try to train them, like whatever knowledge they get about me, to try to train them well. For example, I get amazing ads on Facebook. I love Facebook for that reason, because I get like great recommendations, but it kind of takes some thinking to understand, okay, if I click on this thing that is not what I want to get ads for in the future, then Facebook is not going to be a good place for me to be. But if I want to see more, I don't know, something that interests me, then click there. So I guess just starting to like play the system a little bit so that it works to my advantage. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
we'll have to dig more into that, I think. That's a good answer for that one.
Yeah, that is kind of like never give your Spotify account to your children, because then your daily mixes are like Paw Patrol mixed with your own music, which is really weird in your car. Yeah. Good. Next question. What is your favorite event on the AI calendar?
Ooh, I'm so excited. I am going to NeurIPS this year, and it's my first NeurIPS. And it's all virtual, so I can't say that I'm going, but I'm attending, and I'm really excited about that. I cannot wait.
Oh,
when is that?
It's in December, like second week of December. And this year it's only $175. I encourage everyone to it's like the perfect year to go because it's so cheap because it's not in person, it's online. So I think this will help democratize access to this conference, at least this year. I don't know if they're going to go back to in person, but it's something that most people should be able to afford these days. Yeah.
I love that. That's such a good one. I went in, I think it was like 2018. And I still to this day saw my favourite keynote ever by a researcher named Kate Crawford. I talk to her about everyone. If anyone has seen any of my stuff on the internet, I literally talk about this keynote so much. It's such a good conference. You'll really enjoy yourself.
I can't wait.
Fabulous. On to question number 5. So, what area of AI is on your list to skill up on next?
I've been looking a lot into an area called like scientific machine learning, or where you can use AI to solve partial differential equations or to discover partial differential equations based on data. And so it's an area that I got a little bit into it during my master's, but not as much as I'd like. And so I've been looking at some things. It's been around for a while, so it's not like, like super recent research, but I've been looking at physics-informed neural networks, or PINs, PINN, and a few other related technologies. And so maybe there will be something in my blog about that at some point. We'll see. Yeah.
Very good.
Cool. Looking forward to that. Last question. What was the first thing, like project or scale, you built in AI? So the first thing you touched when moving to the AI field?
I think my first project in class, like a class project, was the Eigenfaces project. It's a lot of people's first project. Yeah, which helps to understand about principal component analysis and also like image compression and things like that. And it's yeah, I think it's somewhere on my GitHub still, because I think I put all my projects from grad school there. But it's also like something that can, like, it's self-contained and small enough that can be done as a homework pretty easily. So a lot of classes will use that as a starting point. I think that was my first, at least of my first in college, I would say. Yeah.
Oh, that's a brilliant one. That's a really good one. I think I did that project as well. Certainly rings a bell.
Did you?
Yeah. So yeah, they use principal component analysis was something I used quite a lot because I did a lot with text to start off with. So cutting down a lot of text was quite important for that. But we've come to the end of our quickfire round, and just big thank you because you gave some fascinating answers, and we really, really appreciate the surprise element of the quickfire questions as well. But Bea, with that, we are actually out of time. Oh my goodness, the show always goes so quickly. We really, really appreciate you coming on the show, spending 30 minutes with us, telling us all about yourself. And yeah, hopefully people can go follow you on social media and see all the great stuff you're working on. But with that, yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Amy and Henk, for having me on the show. It was fun.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you shortly.
Bye.
Fabulous. Henk, as always, we are at the end. This one we maybe cut a little fine. So I guess the last thing we can do is just wrap up the day. So thank you so much for joining us today. As always, it's been a pleasure to have you as our audience. If this is the first time you've caught a bit of AI, you can catch all of our on-demand episodes, including season 1, on our website at abitofai.show. And also do check out the website because you can see all of our different speakers. You can get in contact with them. You can go look them up online and see the great work they are doing. And with that, we'll say thank you so much for watching. And this has been A Bit of AI with Henk and Amy. And we'll see you soon.
See you next week.